The Neon Demon is a 2016 film directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. Jessie is a 16-year-old aspiring model. After arriving in Los Angeles, she finds that she is revered by photographers and the fashion industry, as her beauty is seen as pure and not manufactured. This instant fame and fortune greatly upsets other, more experienced models who fear that their time on top is running out. After a series of mishaps and dangerous incidents, she goes to live with her friend Ruby. However, after Jessie rejects her sexual advances, the models and Ruby attack, kill, and devour her. The models suddenly get more work after eating Jessie, but one of them becomes physically ill, vomits up part of Jessie, and then commits suicide. The other model happily eats what was thrown up and walks away back to her work. The Neon Demon is a tapestry of symbols, arcane references, and mythology, both mytho-historical as well as birthing a mythology all its own. The three women who conduct black magic are akin to the three weird sisters from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. In the play, they actually speak to Macbeth in riddles and prophesize both his rise and fall. The three women, two models and a makeup artist, foreshadow future events as well, although not as explicitly. One model says that lipstick is often named after food or sex. She asks Jessie, "Are you food or are you sex?" This foreshadows Jessie quite literally becoming food for them. One model says that her lipstick is red rum. Anyone who has seen The Shining knows that red rum is murder backwards. This is even said in a room full of mirrors. The food or sex question has another meaning. In the film, sexual desirability, beauty, is said to be the world's greatest commodity, the value of which is growing more and more. If you are not desirable, according to some characters in the film, you are nothing. So when the models ask Jessie if she is food or sex, they are asking whether she believes she is beautiful or worthless. Later, the models debate whether or not they will eat at the diner. One model tells the other not to bother even reading the menu because she will not eat, but the other is unsure. Then the topic of Jessie comes up immediately afterwards. Subtextually, they are debating whether or not to eat Jessie. Jessie says that as a child, she would look up at the moon and think that it was watching her, like a great eye. The moon is connected to numerous mythologies. For example, werewolves are said to be tied to the lunar cycle. Throughout the film, we see many predators, one in Jessie's motel room, another one stuffed this time in a lavish home, and then finally, the wolf itself, seen only after Jessie's murder. These predators predict future events and marry themselves to Jessie's ultimate fate.
You ever had a girl screw you out of a job?
Yes.
So what'd you do about it?
I ate her.
In ancient China, people believed that there were 12 moons, as there were 12 months in one year. It was believed that the moons were made of water, and that there was a mother of moons. The moon is also associated with aforementioned witches, as well as the feminine in general. After the murder, Ruby writhes on the floor in the moonlight, and bleeds to death from between her legs in a way that could be considered menstrual. If you want to see the more graphic scenes, you will have to watch the film. When Jessie says that the moon is watching her, this connects it to another visual motif in the film: mirrors. They appear everywhere in the Neon Demon. Few scenes go by without seeing one. Their reflections allow the models to do their makeup, but mirrors also reflect the self. They are revealing, but they are also dangerous. Spend too much time in your reflection, and you may not like what you see. The moon, the eye, the mirror, it's all connected. The gaze of the world. The feeling of being watched and judged, especially based on appearance. One character calls Jessie a diamond in a sea of glass. She wants to look into the glass of the mirror and see a diamond reflected. She is seen in the blue diamond during her transformation. Red and blue reoccur many times in the film. Red means danger, blood. While washing off fake blood, Jessie meets Ruby. Her very name means danger. Red, danger, blood. The blue during Jessie's transformation from naive girl to egomaniac is actually a reference to the myth of Narcissus. Later, the photographer tells the model to stop staring into the water. Although the transformation scene, the titular neon demon scene, is rather clear in its intent. And at the end of the scene, the red and the blue are fused into purple. Jessie is now both dangerous and narcissistic. Flowers appear in the film. The petals sometimes used to imply sex, but in this case, it implies innocence. Jessie's boyfriend, Dean, brings her flowers, but they fall and scatter, and she dreams of blue instead. She is safe in her motel room, the wallpaper a pattern of flowers. When she no longer feels safe in the room, darkness covers most of the flower pattern, and we zoom back to reveal more and more shadow. In this scene, after the murder, Ruby lies in a grave, surrounded by flowers, their meaning changed and distorted. Innocence lost.
Beauty isn't everything, it's the only thing. True beauty is the highest currency we have. Now, without it, she would be nothing.
The black magic of the three women is not the only Shakespearean reference. In this scene, the fashionista, Robert, exclaims, "Let pry through the portage of the head, like a brass cannon." He is interrupted and then continues, "Now set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide. Hold hard the breath and bend up every spirit to his full height." The film doesn't acknowledge the source of the quote, but it is from Henry V. This casts Robert in the role of a character who will explain the core of the film, much as Henry V was a great orator. Robert proclaims that beauty is our greatest currency. For Robert, this is a positive and a credo. For Refn, this is a nightmare. In an interview, he said, "We live in a very sexualized society. Men want to sexualize youth. Women want to consume it. If you're 25, you're not 17. But what happens when you're 17 and you're not 14? It's going in that direction whether we like it or not. It's scary, especially when you have two young girls who are starting to experience the world." Robert says that beauty is not everything, it is the only thing. Dean, Jessie's boyfriend, disagrees openly, but Robert counters, saying that if Jessie were not beautiful, Dean would not have given her a second look. Dean, though outwardly claiming no superficiality, is attempting a romantic relationship with a 16-year-old. Dean's age is never given explicitly, but when Jessie's age is revealed, he is clearly surprised, suggesting that he is an adult, and she is a minor. Robert, though revolting, has a point, and Dean's intentions are not pure. Nicholas Winding Refn said, "I always wanted to make a film about the 16-year-old girl inside me. I've always felt that every man has a 16-year-old girl inside them, and I wanted to make a movie about mine. Going from Drive to re-entering my mother's womb in Only God Forgives, I lived out that fantasy, so now I can make a movie from the point of view of the teenage girl inside of me." He also once remarked that filmmaking allows him to explore his feminine side, as he believes that creativity in some way is feminine, giving birth to something, and directing a film is as close as he can come to becoming a woman.
But I'm not sure about the makeup this year.
I think you look perfect.
Yeah. Well, flattery will get you everywhere.
Refn also recognized that there is sometimes a difference between a man writing women and a woman writing women. He hired two women playwrights to co-write the screenplay, particularly the dialogue. Refn is one of the 3 people credited with the script, and the other 2 are women. He also hired a woman to be the cinematographer, and of course, most of the characters are played by women. In the end, one model cannot stomach what she has done. She vomits up Jessie's eye, and another eats it, hoping to gain her strength. This harkens back to the opening line, "Am I staring?" It ends on what resembles a perfume commercial set to a pop song. The cannibalism of the models is not unlike the Wendigo myth of Algonquin folklore or the vampire myth. But more than that, the women eating Jessie is simply allegorical. A world built on sexuality and youth will eat us alive. Hi everyone, if you enjoy my show, please consider clicking on the orange link at the bottom. My Patreon is how all of this happens. Click the circle to subscribe or the image to keep watching.